Hello everyone, my name is SuperSweet, and in this video we're taking a look at a mod called Clockwork, which has recently been released as a public alpha version. This mod lets you fly around in airplanes, just like this. But it's not just airplanes. You can make anything, like a hot air balloon with a propeller, for example. All of the blocks that are part of the flying machine can be interacted with like you normally would in Minecraft. The only difference is that they now have physics applied to them. The public alpha can be downloaded from the Valkyrian Skies Discord. I'll put a link in the description which you can use to join the Discord. Once you've joined the Discord, you will want to look for the Clockwork Nightly's channel, and then download the latest jar files available for either Forge or Fabric on Minecraft version 1.18. Once you've downloaded these files, you will want to put them in your mods folder. You will also want to make sure that you have Forge or Fabric installed for 1.18. So in your mods folder, make sure you have the Valkyrian Skies beta, Kotlin if you're using Forge, also the crate mod, and I also recommend Flywheel, and of course, last but not least, the Clockwork alpha. After that, you should be able to start Minecraft with Clockwork. If you're still having issues, I would recommend taking a look at the Valkyrian Skies Discord, as there's a lot of information available there. Although my plane has some basic redstone mistakes, as you can see by the trapdoors opening and closing, I'm very impressed by Clockwork so far. It is an alpha and it does have some issues, but I did get this airplane flying after 3 attempts. I think it took about an hour to build. And just look at this. You can sit inside the airplane, you can interact with things. I even have a lever down here where I can change the speed of the propeller if I want to. And then I have this controller, which is just controlling all the redstone signals. And it even controls the door to my airplane. Yeah, that's another redstone accident. But just look at this, it's beautiful. I'm flying in Minecraft, in an actual airplane that I built with Minecraft blocks and crate mod blocks, with a little touch of Clockwork. Now what I'm holding in my hand is a link controller from the crate mod. I could actually place it here if I was in survival, but it's a little bit hard to interact with in crate mode. But by using this link controller, I've mapped the different redstone signals to WASD, which are the keys moving on the controller here. And then I use spacebar to turn on and off the propeller, which I'm not gonna do right now. But all those signals allow me to control this airplane. Now, there has been a bug which made my wings stop moving. So as I'll show later in the video, these wings are actually supposed to move as I'm turning and stuff. I'm not sure why they broke, but it's an alpha, so that's something I would expect to happen. I'm sure if I tried enough, I could get it working again. But at least the wings are actually performing their functions, so I am pretty happy, and you can still see the propeller moving. Now they say landing is always the hardest part, so let's try a landing. Oh, I'm coming in a little bit low. I think I can make it. Yeah, there we go. This is your captain speaking. Plane has landed. Sorry for the bumpy ride. I guess there's no applause. Okay, so I've parked my airplane now, so we can take a look at how it all works. If you look on the outside, you have a bunch of redstone links, and they're all controlled with this redstone link controller here. I have a seat. I also have a lever down there, which will control the speed of the engines. And then using this link controller, I can now turn the airplane like so. So this is what it's supposed to look like when it's in the air. I don't know why it was bugging earlier. And I do need to find a fix for these trapdoors, as that was not an intended function of this airplane when I built it. But it looks nice as long as you're not turning or going up and down. Now we can use the F3 plus B keybind to show hitboxes. And if we look inside the engine area here on the airplane, you'll see this yellow box which is showing where the center of gravity is for the entire plane. So by adding more objects to either the front or the back of the airplane, we can change the center of the gravity. I'm going to go ahead and add some blackstone as it has a fairly high weight in this Clockwork mod. And as you can see, the yellow box has moved slightly forward. And if we go ahead and add more blackstone to the front here, the weight will go up even more. And casings is actually something that weighs almost nothing at all, or maybe even nothing at all, I'm not really sure. But by replacing the casings with blackstone, we have now moved up the box even further. I can even go ahead and add some more blackstone here just to move our center of gravity all the way up. Because one issue is our plane is kind of tilting upwards a lot. As we're flying, it's hard to keep it steady. So that's how I'm trying to balance that. I'll actually add even more blackstone here. We'll put some blackstone here on the side and then make the other side match as well. And if we go back now, the box has actually disappeared into the middle here. So now our center of gravity should be right where our wings are. That should make it a little bit easier to control. And here's one of my test runs. So for some reason the propeller also stopped spinning and we're not moving very fast. So now with the added blackstone, it seems like our propeller is a little bit too small to carry this plane forward. So I went ahead and made the propeller slightly larger, like so. You can even fit some sails in here. I think just like windmills, I don't think it matters like how the propeller looks, but we want it to be kind of realistic. We can also use F3A to reload our client-side chunks to get rid of the bugged out propeller. Now let's assemble a hot air balloon. Last animation when we put together one of these. We're going to go ahead and fill our creative fluid tank with strawberry frosting, which currently doesn't have a texture. And that is what's going to power our balloon here. So I have some creative motors here, which are going to spin the burner up there. But we need to hit the burner with a brass hand to make it actually start working. And there we go. We now have liftoff. And hot air balloons basically just needs the balloon casings and then a burner to work. And this is much easier to fly than an airplane. It also doesn't seem to go anywhere. It just seems to kind of stay in the same place here. Maybe in future versions there will be some kind of wind mechanic or something that will push the balloon. Or maybe my balloon is just too large. And just like with airplanes, we can place blocks onto the machine as it is assembled. There's currently no way to disassemble machines, so being able to place blocks onto them is really convenient. So here you can see I'm adding some iron blocks and it's affecting the weight of the balloon, and we can see it reacting to the added weight. And if we wanted to, we could also add things like a propeller to the side of the balloon, and this is also going to affect the physics. And based on my testing, it seems like it's going to start spinning us in circles mostly. However, I could see some players building large airships with this, so I think it's a pretty neat functionality. I also want to give a shout out to Polartt, who made a beginner-friendly airplane. If you want to get started with Clockwork, I highly recommend checking out his video on how to build an airplane, and also getting started with his contraption. It's actually how I learned how to build my airplane. It's also much easier to fly compared to a larger airplane, such as the one that I built. I will make sure to put a link to Polartt's video in the description below. I highly recommend you check it out. He also provides a schematic for this airplane that you can import into your creative world to play around with. Another YouTuber I would highly recommend is Kwizzle Hazzizle. He made this airplane, which works a little bit different, and it also integrates big cannons so you can actually shoot with it. However, for some reason I was not able to get big cannons working in my mod pack, but there should be some cannons at the front if you do get this working with big cannons. And I really like this airplane design because it works a little bit differently from other designs that I've seen. So it just gives you some more ideas on how airplanes could work. I will also include a link to his YouTube video where he goes over schematics for Clockwork and how to use them. So make sure to hop over to his YouTube video and check that out if you want to learn more about Clockwork. That's going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider giving it a like. And if you want to see more of my videos in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.